like Jakob Nielsen to come up and join me, and we're going to have a chat about his new little venture.
Thank you. Let's be closer to each other.
Yeah. We're
all friends, right?
Friends.
We're all friends.
Yeah.
What an honor following after Thomas. It's clear that his company really excel and know this stuff. It's also clear they don't know a lot about football. The best goalie plays for Manchester United, and he's Spanish.
So you're the boss of something called Finecast. What on earth is Finecast? We've heard it mentioned a couple of times today. Tell us what it's about.
Finecast is an ecosystem play which operate in the future of TV, which we call addressable TV.
What is it really?
So
that's all code words.
It's really a bunch of people pretending to know what they're talking about, but don't know anything. But don't tell that to anyone. That stays between us.
Okay.
We are, in all seriousness.
You're selling it well so far.
Exactly. I don't take credit for coming up with this. It's really our global chairman, Irving Gottlieb, who's been thinking about this for 10 years. And it starts with the opportunity to use data in the traditional TV world. And we see that audiences are migrating from traditional linear TV into the whole on-demand world. On-demand world being set-top boxes, OTT, smart TVs, etc. And that is a very, very, very exciting opportunities for us and our clients. But it's also very, very complex opportunities. It's an opportunity where you have to integrate into, just in the UK, different set-top boxes with different TV ad servers behind, and their data issues and their measurement issues. And if you really want to succeed in that space, you have to use technology to do that. And if you do that well, clients will have opportunities to use their first-party data, use creative in a completely different way, and that's what most of the clients are really, really excited about. So
how did you and Irvin sell this simple project to Martin Sorrell?
This is on camera, so that's interesting. First of all, Irvin started selling it before I did, but he was, Martin is an entrepreneur. He likes us to build new businesses all the time. He likes us to grow with where the future is. So it was fairly easy sell, actually, to do that. And it is, we're all here because the audience is migrating from traditional linear TV into this new world. And as a viewer of watching TV, I don't think it's been ever more exciting. You can pretty much do whatever you want with TV. You can record it, you can take it with you. There is so much content out there. There are many, many companies, also some new companies, relatively large companies from America, who are investing more and more in content. So from a viewing perspective, that's very, very interesting. We also know the fact that we have this saying that money follows the eyeballs. We saw in the 50s when TV consumption took over radio consumption, it took 4.5 years for money to follow that from a radio to TV. And I think it's the same way we're happening now.
Why does it make sense for your company, for your parent company, for Martin's parent company, Group M? Why does it make sense for you to be doing this as opposed to some of the other players out there?
Because we remember what we do. We work with the whole industry. There are fantastic solutions like Sky AdSmart, who's been at this for a long time and who needs a lot of credit for really opening the UK market. And you can't praise that enough. And the willingness of investing in products like that. And Sky is a massive partner of ours. But so is Virgin, and so is Channel 4, and so is Channel 5, and hopefully one day Steve Bicknell ITV will be a big partner as well. So we have to work with the whole industry.
I saw you doing a deal just earlier. So that's a done deal, surely.
Of course, 18.
I heard him say it.
Good. It's on the record now. So we don't just work with one partner. We work with other partners, and therefore it makes sense for us to manually do this. It doesn't make sense. Therefore, we have used a technology and data approach. So we have, over the last 3-4 years, really plugged into all these partners. And that's obviously not easy to do, and it takes time, and what we're doing is not perfect yet, but it's really progressed well. And we've run more than 200 campaigns with more than 80 clients already. So that's quite exciting. And
those companies you list, they are only partners? Are they in any shape or form competitors?
The Sky, the Virgin, no, I don't see them as competitors. When we call Finecast an ecosystem, that's because we try to create true partnerships with them. And agencies are good at talking about prices. Here, in this new world, it's not just about price. You start talking about technology integrations, you start about talking about data, and all of a sudden it makes sense for agencies to start paying for data, to start paying for all these things, because our clients get a better result out of that. And therefore we can afford to pay more because we get more. And that's why we really see this as partnerships.
So who do you compete with?
We probably compete more with the world of Google, Facebook, Amazon, even though my boss, Kelly Clark, have announced yesterday that we're going to spend more with Amazon, and we will, but that's more kind of that space because they're starting to go into the TV space. And but they come from a different background. The Google and Facebooks of this world don't fully understand TV. They don't understand the value of quality content and the value quality content has for advertisers. So there's still 5 good years where broadcasters really can progress and invest in this space and succeed.
So in your view, they're investing in billions in that content without understanding the value of what they're investing in.
Netflix announced that this year they are going to spend $6.5 billion on content. Sky in 4 markets alone spent $7.5 billion.
Yes, but a huge chunk of that is on sports, so it's not apples to apples.
Well, I don't know, because I think our friends at Amazon has bought some tennis rights here in Europe.
Oh, yeah. And they do a thing called NFL Thursday Night Football.
Exactly. And
which they're delivering addressable advertising in and have done 12 million streams today.
Exactly. So it is like for like if you start saying sport compared to that. And you also know that that if you look at Manchester United, again, you probably figured out what team is mine. Thank you, Thomas. That the chairman there very cleverly predicted that the guys buying for the rights, the football rights in the UK will probably be Amazon and Facebook as well, which could drive prices up. That's what they're trying to do.
So you're betting on them bidding for these rights? Okay.
I'm not betting on them. You asked me whether they're my competitors.
Yeah, which they are. Okay. You mentioned price. We heard a lot earlier today about the supposed high cost of addressable TV advertising being actually, making it not viable, especially for big brand FMCG type products. Is that the case? Is it only applicable to a very, to a subset of product categories?
Answering the question holistically, we don't think that everything will be addressable TV. And addressable TV defined that as buying audiences in the TV space. We predict that about 30 to 50% of the market could be addressable.
By when?
It will take somewhere between 5 to 10 years to get there. So quite long time horizon. We all talk about this very aggressively, but it's still a very, very new world.
And just so we're clear on what we mean there, by 50% of the market being addressable, you mean 50% of the advertising impressions being delivered that way, 50%
Spend
of the
level.
Spend.
Yeah. So it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
And we take programmatic. We think at one time programmatic and addressable for us is different. Programmatic is the notion of using technology to procure it, using instead of IOs, etc. Where addressable is more you buy an audience.
Yep.
You might have one day where everything is programmatic, but that's a different setup.
Yep. So it will reach a cap at 50%.
We think about it. Some clients, like an easy example is Coca-Cola, right? They have, if they have Coca-Cola, everyone drinks Coca-Cola. They don't need to go out and define a target group in Manchester that will buy a Coca-Cola. That would be waste of their money to do stuff like that. But take one of our clients, BMW, which is a German brand, which is doing addressable TV, and you start having some very, very fascinating conversations of the way they have marketing at the headquarter level versus the dealership. Dealerships could not really do TV at a big scale. In the UK, there are 6 regions in the UK, but the regions are still very big if you're a Manchester dealership, and therefore it's very difficult to do TV advertising for you. But with addressable TV, and you can start doing household targeting, all of a sudden the Manchester dealership, if they have special promotions, they can start doing TV. So you will see a lot of non-traditional TV advertisers starting to go into this space. And you will see companies like BMW, they can start shifting their TV strategy because dealerships can start doing more, as an example. So TV will grow. And TV is, people are saying TV is dying. TV is not dying. TV in the UK is relatively stable. If you look at TV and traditional and the whole on-demand world, and one could argue with all the content being consumed and all the access we have to TV, and with new TV advertisers have the opportunity slowly but surely getting into this, we haven't seen the best of TV yet. It's more to come.
I'm going to open out in a minute, so please be thinking of questions you have for Jakob. We talked earlier, you mentioned the word ecosystem, and you mentioned how complex it is. If we're going to get to this 50% point, what are the pieces that need to be stitched together to make that happen?
Good question. Technology is a big aspect of it. There is, whether you see UK or whether we've looked all over the world, you have aspects of the world where you don't have a basic TV ad server. It's very difficult to do addressable TV if you don't have a TV ad server. That's okay, but things like that needs to progress a lot. In an ideal world, you don't have 10 different technologies doing these different things because it becomes very, very complex. It becomes very labor and expensive for agencies to do that. And if it becomes very expensive, it will slow things down, and that's not healthy for anyone. It's not healthy for the ecosystem. So invest in technology. It will take time before you get the returns on that. It won't take years and years, but it will. The first 12 months is something you really need to invest in and go into, and then data is important.
Are we going to see sort of different pockets of solution for different parts of the market? So in other words, we heard already about the way ProSiebenSat.1 is using HbbTV as a solution for the free-to-air market. That is an important part of the market. There are other solutions as well out there.
Yeah.
There, arguably in the US, pay TV as a universe is more important for addressable TV than the free-to-air part now. So, are we going to need different solutions and different ecosystems that need to work in tandem and parallel?
Well, you can probably guess what I think. I think there should be one ecosystem.
One ecosystem.
Right? That's called Finecast with different partners in it.
Okay.
And that's one aspect of it. But that's not an ecosystem that just is itself. It works with partnerships in it. That's one aspect of how things will progress. I think I think whether we like it or not, I think there will be many, many different addressable TV solutions, because there's not one single TV market that are the same. US work different ways. They have 2 minutes local. The UK work differently to Germany. Just as Thomas said, the laws in Germany versus UK are different. Australia is different. China is different. So you will see all kind of different solutions, and you will see different solutions in the markets, because no one wants to bet on just one thing, because we're still early days. And that's why we started Finecast. We predicted that, we believe that that's going to happen. And for our agencies to plan on behalf of our clients, we need to make that as easy as possible. The more easy we make it, the more value we create for our clients. More easy, more value, more spend going into this space. And that's a good thing, because it's very, very easy to work with Google. It's very, very easy to work with Facebook, etc. So we need to find ways of doing this in a clever way. And we think addressable TV is a solution.
Questions for Jakob? First down there and then there. So tell us who you are, David.
Hello, I'm David Cutts from Strategy and Technology. Jakob, thank you for that. Imagine, if you will, you can see, say, 8 million free-to-air TVs in the UK, and you can identify them individually, but you don't know anything about the people who own them yet.
I don't know what?
You don't know anything about the people who own them yet. They're named but anonymous. Okay, they have a number, but they're anonymous. Because they're free-to-air TV sets. What 3 questions would you like me to ask the customer for you to be able to define an audience?
We work with a lot of different data sources, and we won't work with just one data set. We buy data from Experian, AdSmart buy data from Experian, so you get a lot of different data sets. What's important is not that we can identify an individual person. That might be in the digital world, but in the TV world, we talk very much on the household level. So that's where the answer really comes to, is start at a household level, understand what people are willing to share of data, and then start from there.
Okay, how does this tie in with GDPR, do you think? Will that sort of household targeting work okay in GDPR?
Well, the people who owns a relationship with you as a viewer, as example, needs to get your consent. And you need to understand what your data is used for. And all the broadcasters in the UK and distributors in the UK, if I just talk to UK, are working hard on building the systems and providing all that stuff. And that's, I think that's where the answer lies. You need to really take this serious. You need to provide all the right answers so people know what their data is used for. If you start having that open and honest conversation, you get very, very far. Liberty said yesterday in a conference, they were talking very much about, don't write big legal documents that no one understands. Have a fair value conversation with the audience and explain to my mom what her data is used for. Because remember, often in this space, data is your currency. And you have to pay for content that costs billions and billions of dollars. And if you can't, if you're not willing to give up your data, that will have an implication of what you get. But you need to understand it. You need to have that trusting relationship. But I think I'm not saying it's a done. Every single broadcaster, every single distributor here in the UK are working on this nonstop.
Time for one more quick question. Just in the middle there. Just move it on.
Hello, it's Jacek from Discovery Poland. I have a question. Don't you think that there's a problem with actually definition of TV business, and that we are kind of discussing? Don't you think that actually when we discuss about TV, it's about discussion about the platform, while actually TV business is about the content production, and we as TV were actually producing the content, and TV is only the platform that we distribute this content and then try to monetize it, so get good ROI on the product that we deliver. So taking that into consideration, don't you think that actually we should be thinking about the future? We should be thinking about developing new effective distribution ways of this content that will allow to effectively compensate on the expenses we have on the content production.
First of all, I think content is essential. Whenever at Finecast, what we believe in quality content. Quality content is obviously subjective, but we don't believe in user-generated content. We don't believe that a guy slapping another guy with a fish has any value for our clients. And I can give you many other examples. And therefore, we believe that is very important. But how that's distributed depends on how you want to view it as a customer and what choices you have. I would like to record the content on your platforms so I can watch it whenever I want to watch it. So the more you give these different opportunities for the viewers, the better it is for advertisers. And I think I think the broadcast industry potentially is overly paranoid with the big American companies coming in, investing in content, but they're not TV players. We have an awful lot of clients. When we look at all the numbers, we know that advertising performs better in the right content environment. If you, in the new world of TV, can start adding data to that, that's kind of very interesting. And also, here's another aspect. If you are a broadcaster and you understand TV very, very well, and you understand the value of TV, you can take that insight and you can start building systems and data that you can start taking a TV approach into the digital world. Where today it's the digital world looking into the TV world, which is very, very different. So if my TV advertising performs well and I can start engaging with digital audiences outside of TV, but I know which audience that is a very, very effective sales pitch. And that's not a pitch some of the other companies can do. That's something the broadcast industry needs to do. But they need to have the technology, they need to have the pipes, they need to have the data to be able to do that.
Good place to stop. Thank you very much, Jakob.
Thank you.